If you're reading this, don't trust anyone tonight. That's not paranoia. That's survival. Last Monday, the rules of the city changed, and nobody warned us why. I live in a small apartment in North Philly. Now it feels like a cell. I'm Daniel, 24, pharmacy tech by day, DoorDash driver by night, the kind of guy who's got a calendar full of reminders to call his mom and never does. I've got 3 roommates, and even with the world shutting down, we never saw this coming. It started with the curfew. No one took it seriously until the National Guard started rolling down Allegheny Avenue in armored trucks. At first, the loudspeakers barked the usual stuff about public safety and temporary inconvenience. But when you see soldiers actually blocking the streets with razor wire, it hits different. There's no way in or out. People tried ramming his Honda Civic through the checkpoint and didn't make it 2 feet. They dragged him out. The soldiers' faces were hidden behind black visors. Nobody bled on the street, but everyone felt a little more dead inside. Martial law sounds like something from a history book, not a Monday night. But there it was. Curfew at 7 p.m., no exceptions. Stay indoors. Cover your windows. Don't answer the door for anyone. They even taped a list of recommended home safety procedures to our building's main entrance. It read like a joke. Do not attempt to leave your home after dark. Do not answer the door, even for police or military. Do not use your phone after 8 p.m. Trust no one you did not know before today. I kept staring at Rule 4, thinking, what the hell does that mean? I mean, trust is all we have in a city, right? But by the time the second night came, the city felt like a trap. Drones buzzed overhead every hour, their searchlights sweeping the alleyways. By Thursday, nobody could get a call out. Phones just dropped service, one by one, like dying fireflies. If you looked out the window too long, you'd spot someone on the roof across the street, camera pointed right at you, recording maybe. Or maybe just making sure you stayed put. The streets emptied so fast it didn't feel real. Not even the usual late-night fights or cars backfiring. Except one guy, a delivery driver I think, walked right down the middle of 22nd Street with his hands up, yelling, "I'm not sick! I'm not sick!" Before anyone could react, soldiers rushed in and tackled him. They hauled him away. People watched from their windows, then ducked when a drone swung their way. I still hear him yelling at night sometimes. Or maybe it's just in my head. After that, my roommates and I stopped following the rules. We taped cardboard over the windows, unplugged the TV, and smashed the little security camera in the hallway. My friend Lex, she's 22, med student, hates authority, said, if they want us scared, let's be scary. She showed us how to use kitchen knives as weapons, how to talk in code in case someone was listening. The 4 of us started moving as one. Me, Lex, my cousin Javier, and Rhea, who used to be our neighbor but moved in the night the lockdown started. There were knocks on the door almost every night, sometimes soft, sometimes urgent. We never answered. Once, someone slid a note under the door. It just said, "They're watching you. Don't trust anyone tonight." I burned it in the kitchen sink. The city used to be loud, messy, full of life, even the bad kind. Now it feels like a waiting room before something bad happens. The scariest part isn't what's outside. It's wondering if someone you love might turn on you, or already has. When the power flickers and a voice whispers through the vents, all you can do is hope you're not next. People say the world ends with a bang, but this feels more like a slow leak, like the trust is draining out, one rule at a time. If you're expecting zombies, you're watching the wrong nightmare. The first real monster came at midnight. We were playing spades on the living room floor, just trying to keep our minds off the silence, when Rhea froze. She pointed at the window, her mouth open but no sound coming out. The streetlights outside flickered, one by one, like someone was moving down the block, killing power as they went. I crawled to the window and peered through the smallest crack. I saw them, 2 figures moving slow, arms loose, heads down. Not soldiers, Not sick people, just wrong, like their bones were a size too big for their skin. We waited, not breathing. Suddenly a scream shattered the night. A woman's voice, raw and animal, echoing off the brick. But no one else made a sound. Not the neighbors, not the street. The two figures stopped in front of a house across from us. The door swung open without a knock. We heard a thud. Then, nothing. Just like that, the street was empty again. Rhea was shaking. Lex tried to hold her, but Rhea flinched. "Don't," she whispered. "I don't know if you're you." Every night after that, we heard things. Scraping at doors. Sometimes a window smashed 2 streets over, but always the silence after. The monsters didn't just kill, they erased. It's like they removed people from the memory of the neighborhood. The only ones who screamed were the ones who weren't supposed to be here. The delivery guy, the old man in 2B, a kid we never learned the name of. The rest of us just went quiet, hoping the dark would pass us by. Lex was the first to suggest we run. "We're sitting ducks," she said. "They want us boxed in." We started searching for a way out. Maps, vents, old service tunnels. Javier remembered his uncle used to work maintenance in the subway. He thought the old tunnels might still be open. The problem was getting to them. The monsters patrolled at night, and the soldiers during the day. So we waited for a thunderstorm, hoping the noise would cover us. The night it finally hit, we packed everything in 2 backpacks, food, water, my mom's rosary, Rhea's inhaler, and slipped out the back window. The city felt bigger in the dark, like the buildings might swallow us. The only light came from drones, their red eyes blinking through the rain. We found a sewer grate behind the Rite Aid and pried it open with a crowbar. I was the last one down. As I dropped, I swear I saw a shape move behind a parked car. Something hunched, watching. We didn't look back. The tunnels were worse than I imagined. Cold, wet, echoing with distant shuffles and drips. We heard voices sometimes, but they never sounded quite right. Rhea kept saying she smelled bleach. We just kept moving, checking each other's faces in the flashlight beam, repeating our names to make sure we remembered. We finally reached an abandoned subway platform. It was empty except for old trash and a broken vending machine. We rested, and that's when things got really weird. My phone buzzed, first time in days. The screen flashed my sister's name, Emily, calling. My heart stopped. Emily had died last year, car accident on I-95, open casket and everything. But I answered. Her voice was exactly the same. "Danny, where are you? I'm scared. Come find me." I dropped the phone. Lex and Javier both started getting calls too. Dead parents, old friends, voices from the past. Only Rhea didn't get one. She just stared at the floor, whispering to herself over and over, "Don't trust them. Don't trust anyone." The voices didn't stop. They got inside our heads, telling us secrets only we knew, telling us to leave each other behind, telling us nothing outside was real. Lex started smiling too much, at nothing. Javier forgot my name. At one point he turned to me and said, "I know you, but I don't remember why I care." I didn't sleep for 2 days. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Emily standing in the subway, reaching for me, her eyes all wrong. That's when we realized the monsters weren't here to eat us. They were here to change us, not just our bodies, but our minds. Every night we stayed in those tunnels, our memories got a little fuzzier. Every morning it was harder to trust even the people we loved. Rhea started keeping a list of our names and stories, forcing us to read it aloud so we'd remember who we were. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. If you think the world ends in blood and fire, you haven't seen it end in doubt. The infection wasn't in our veins, it was in our heads, our trust, our stories. I don't know who made the rules, but I know this. Obeying them won't save you. Trusting the wrong person will kill you. And tonight, It could be anyone. You want to know when you've finally lost? It's not when you're out of food or hope or hiding places. It's when you don't recognize the people standing next to you, but you still follow them because there's no one else left. That's what the city felt like by the third week. Everyone's face was blurred by exhaustion and fear, but sometimes, in the cracks between drone passes, there'd be a spark. Someone scrawling graffiti, a Molotov crashing through a checkpoint, a makeshift radio playing static and whispers. That's when you realize the only rule left is survive. It started with Javier. He just stopped responding one morning, sitting on the cracked subway tile, staring at nothing. Lex cried, Ria screamed at him, but he just sat there, repeating, "It's not my story anymore." I couldn't handle it. I ran up to the street for air and nearly got my head blown off by soldiers firing at shadows. I made it back down by luck, with a new resolve. We couldn't just hide. If we did, the city would swallow us too. The three of us, me, Lex, Rhea, started reaching out, leaving chalk marks and coded notes in the tunnels, meeting other survivors in silent, trembling groups. Sometimes we traded stories to test if our memories matched. If someone slipped up, said the wrong thing, looked at you too long without blinking, you left them behind. It was brutal. But we started building something. A resistance, I guess. We hit supply caches, set fire to a military checkpoint, snatched a walkie from a careless guard. Lex even hijacked a drone, flying it into a communications van and blocking their signals for a whole night. That night, the city felt awake again. Screams, fire, sirens, the sound of people refusing to disappear. We started broadcasting on pirate radio, reading names and messages from survivors, giving directions to safe houses, warning about infected or false memories. Rhea became our voice, calm, direct, reminding everyone to check their stories, write down what matters, remember they're real people. I just kept running, scavenging, dodging both monsters and soldiers, dragging Lex back every time she got too bold. But every new day meant losing someone, sometimes to the monsters, sometimes to the infection of doubt. Once we had to tie down a little kid who kept insisting his mother was outside, calling him. The next morning, he was gone anyway. The only thing left was a note. She remembered my name. Lex paid the price for getting us heard. We were cornered in an old library, broadcasting, when the soldiers broke in. She blocked the stairwell while Rhea and I ran. I still hear her yelling, taunting them, buying us time. She didn't make it out. We kept moving, but now every time we went on air we said her name first. This is for Lex, who never stopped fighting. Then came the night we finally got the truth out. We hijacked the city's emergency broadcast signal, patched in every radio and TV for 3 blocks. Rhea told them everything. What the monsters were, how the rules twisted people's memories, how the infection spread not by blood but by trust. You could hear gunfire in the background, people shouting, soldiers trying to cut the feed. But for 10 minutes the truth was out. That's all we ever wanted. The next day the city felt different. Fewer soldiers, more fires, strangers nodding at each other in the open. The monsters pulled back for a while. The last time I saw the city from above, I was standing on the roof of an abandoned high-rise, the sun coming up behind broken windows, smoke drifting everywhere. Rhea stood next to me, scarred but unbroken. We weren't the same people who started this. Nobody was. But as the city burned, the survivors started gathering. Kids, old people, people with haunted eyes but real stories. We started over, leading not with rules but with names and memories. I don't know what happens next. All I know is, when the world tells you not to trust anyone, the only thing left is to fight for the ones who still remember you.